Anyway, all right. So when you kind of look at all the conspiracy theories, it's really, I think you can boil it down to two main ones here. And the first one is Black Matter's a villain. First and foremost, they're a villain, and they've done this bait and switch type of deal. You had this original Kickstarter, and they're just exploiting the masses, and they're exploiting people just what they needed to hear in order to get the money happening, and with the hardcore experience and everything else. And then we're slowly, bit by bit, going more and more to the casuals, and we have this and the console was the final destination, and everything. So, and they've reached out to Team 17 to accelerate some of that. So that's kind of like one overarching conspiracy theory. The second one is really Team 17 is a villain. Team 17 has taken advantage of Black Matter, and and to some parts, Max has talked about their runway with their cash and how a lot of decisions were made to keep Black Matter employees employed, to their credit. But I'm not that guy. I'm the villain. So that Team 17 came in and they're just strong arming Black Matter, and they're the ones pushing away from this hardcore roots and going out to bigger markets and everything. And Team 17 is leveraging their, as I got here, $1 billion market capitalization on a small, Black Matter development, and they're the ones pushing these favorable media outlets, and you can't trust them, blah, blah, blah. So here's some supporting evidence to kind of those two on there. Team 17, first off, is known for games like Worms, and friendly mannered games.
Fun if you played them.
Yeah, fun if you played them. I would have a Candy Crush. No problem if the Candy Crush developer came in.
It's in that realm, yes. So
yeah, but now all of a sudden, Golf with Friends is Team 17. Golf with Friends does not care about time to kill like a first-person shooter. So why the hell did Team 17 get into a tactical shooter like HLL? They're also getting into Ready or Not, which kind of goes completely against their DNA. That just sounds suspicious to me. I should have actually had my soundboard like
okay, Agent Mulder. Look at it this way: Team 17, it's just a publisher. I mean, they're doing what they're doing. I gotta say, anybody with the know-how and does the research is gonna see that uptick in tactical shooting trends. Like, I mean, they wanted to branch out into that market, fill their boots. If you're writing children's book and all of a sudden you have this urge to go up into a teen level writing, who cares? As long as the content is where it's at, I mean, nobody's going to argue one way or the other. I mean, it's really just a publisher selling something that's new for them. So what? I mean, even so, we've seen the current player pop trend up every single update. So obviously their guess was right by going this one. The case in point is just another example. Recently, Tiny Build, which is primarily a family-friendly dev publisher group. And they're known for like Hello Neighbor. I've never played it.
My 6-year-old loves Hello Neighbor.
Yeah, so there you go. There's the context. 6-year-old. They recently bought Bad Pixel, and you could hear them. They're notable for their game Dead Side. It's a huge game, and that brought financial stability, and they still assured creative freedoms to these guys to make their games at that. And I think that's something that Black Matter publicly stated that they have, even with pairing up with Team 17. So it's just a publisher.
Okay. So I hear you, Digi. I hear you. God, this is actually fun to be kind of the mean guy. So this is gonna be Inchon's favorite episode.
All right.
So I hear you. But if you go back to the dev briefs before Team 17 was involved, Black Matter was definitely much more communicative and communicative. And now it kind of feels like Team 17 is maybe controlling more of it, not letting Black Matter speak as much as they want to, and kind of suppressing the freedom of speech, which as a God-given American, I hate that. I hate it.
Yeah.
So what do you got to say to that?
Mr. Big Tennessee over here. Yeah. As the game and the team grows, like Max stated in his last interview, they're up to 70 people. That's a lot of growth in a short amount of time. I think it's just natural to have less time for those lengthy discussions with your player base. It's still not like you can't have a conversation, but I think there's a lot going, and there's a lot of interconnecting parts that, like are working on this game. And it's like, me and my personal work, like I can't start and stop on something and do this and do that. You really have to have rhythm and flow to it. So like devs like Jambax, Danny, Gretson, they've all had really frequent conversations with players on the Discord. I mean, most of those players often come back dissatisfied, but with their answers. And I mean, they're always going to continue to push. I mean, players are always going to continue to push what they think, and they're never going to be wrong. It's the customer's always right mentality, right? So I think it's like you can't go to just being extortion, you know, as a player base. That you know, not every question you have has that 100% answer. You might get part way because there might not be wanting to leak all those little secrets that, you know, they're working on this and they don't want to spoil it. I mean, some people have gotten to the point of threatening to DDoS the system and servers to protest the state of the game. I mean, they really took a step back. They took a step back.
If there's one thing that should have been DDoS, it's this shiny OP bullshit. Okay,
Yeah.
like, you know, type deal. I mean, I think this is just an anecdotal story. Once again, this is not the real Inchon. This is evil Inchon. This is just an anecdotal story of an example of how feedback is just lip service. You know, that the community overwhelmingly came out, united, public, competitive. Hell, even if we had console players at the time, I think they would have came back, and they didn't change the shiny OP. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just reading, parsing and summarizing a bunch of feedback. I mean, that's posted daily in a large volume on various channels. I mean, it's worthy of a full-time job for somebody, and I'm sure they have somebody that does that. Maybe. I'm pretty sure that they have somebody that goes through that and lengthy. But I mean, it's also you're reviewing this feedback. Not necessarily always agreeing with it. I mean, the customer is not always right when you have a vision, you have a direction that you know is going to be, you know, what you're trying to strive through at the end. I mean, those decisions will get made whether we wanted them to or not. And then there's still going to be a point and a counterbalance where the consumer's like, I didn't really like that. And maybe they have a slight tweak that comes through it. But I think their overall passion and direction is decided by them, the devs. Like, I really think the feedback on individual issues might not make a cohesive whole when combined together. So they really they're trying to get those big chunks out there.
Well, and speaking of big chunks, I think it's, you know, a perfect example of a bait and switch, because you had this rush to kind of get to like what I would consider like update 7, and everything was going good. And then round 8, you know, we got the I think it was the finance department released an outlook and talking about how it's coming out on consoles. And since then, it's really been, from my conspiracy, you know, perspective, that the design choices continuously be made for console port, or you could say for mainly console, and let the PC players go by, which buys right in to the bait and switch. What do you guys say about that?
Man, like, it's just another market, console market in itself. Like, it's really lacking that tactical shooter games available. So I think Black Matter and Team 17 is like, just fill this niche. I mean, it's there. I really think they just wanted to cover that ground and be the first to cover it, because you know how that works. I mean, you're first to build that computer, you're probably got to be the first to sell a large computer on a big scale. So I think jumping in there early is going to benefit them, because then they can do their tweaks before some rival might come in with another tactical shooter, modify it. You know, any of the big players, this is really smart for a smaller developing team to really jump into this market early, get all the kinks out before those major money players come in and try and overload it. Right? If it does well, it's a good one to hedge your bets on. I think that it was a smart move to move into the consoles for this game. It might cover some good ground for them. And
they might be breaking into the market with this first like mil-sim console shooter, but ones they're not breaking into is a freaking paid DLC. Okay, yeah. And they're coming in here. You know, this was a Kickstarter, nothing really came out, and now they're saying that, you know, we've got some paid DLCs with the update, and like it just goes again. So now, are we going to have content behind paid walls? If you read the way that a conspiracy theorist reads, that is definitely coming to us, you know? And now it's just Black Matter and Team 17 are just milking the cash cow, regardless of how it comes in. And you could see this in the public games. You don't see level 200s and hundreds before. You see level 10s, 20s, and people leaving. They're just trying to get that new buck and squeeze as much money out of each player as they can.
Well, let's be realistic. Again, we go back to it. It's publisher, it's a developer. They're in it to make some money and love what they're doing at the same time. So, I mean, what they're looking at is this long-term support. Your game has to continue to progress because we only just recently got out of alpha. It's a new game. They're still trying to make money. I mean, they had that Kickstarter that got the ball started down the hill, but it was a long hill to get down until we're at that release point. So, I mean, they're looking at it this way. It's non-pay to win microtransactions have been proven to be non-invasive additional cash flow. Like, I mean, we got a new hat. Like, no, nothing's been locked into like different weapons, different tanks, different this or that. It's all the same metric that actually, wins the battles. It's just you look different doing it.
But when they do, I told you so.
All right, when they do, you can tell me just that. I mean, I don't see it coming because that would kill the game. I'll lose interest. I honestly, I can't stand behind a pay-to-win platform. I don't think it's gonna be a pay to look, and just the apparel and customization on that. The history nerds will love it, so on and so forth. But sales are important at keeping this game afloat. Let's just be rational to it. It's really replacing that player attrition. I mean, you get the old people come out or they stay ready, but you got to have a constant influx of new people coming in because nobody wants to get that title on their game of it's a dead game. That's the ultimate nail. Just it's a dead game. That will not inspire anybody to pick up said game until it's like $5 on Steam. Like that. That's at the point. I remember we played like Black Sails or something when it was $1,
Don't
and
make,
it had
don't
like
make conspiracy Intron laugh. Don't make me laugh about Black Sails.
It spiked for like 3 weeks, but it was $1 a game. But that that's all I could do to drive it. It had to be that. We're not there yet. We're not there at all, and I don't see this game and its current progression being there for some time. So maybe down that line. But again, the complementary source to this way of thinking, there's a great book by Jason Schreier. It's called Press Reset, and it is about the harsh realities of game development, and they are tough. I'm not a game developer, but I've seen people write in Python. I was like, whoa, that's a whole different language, because it is. And it's marked by studio closures and non-existent job security. Like, it's a great book. And case in time again, like, it's got to continue to happen. So we got to have cash.
I don't break character. I don't think let's step away from this. If I told my wife that I'm risking my family's livelihood, my wife and 2 kids and the mortgage to go into the game development business, I think there would be divorce papers filed within weeks. So that's again. Okay, back to character. Man, it's exhausting being this angry. I don't think I could be this angry for
it's a tightrope, and that's not you.
Yeah, I was gonna say but this was part of the fun. We had the pre-show. It's gonna be evil Inchon. Evil Inchon. Okay. So Digi,
compose. Yeah.
You see all this, and you talk about the new players coming in, and the only way that we can even help to retain some of these new players is that design decisions need to be made to the lowest common denominator as far as IQ. It's dumbed down gameplay from what we had before. Now we got pings and map markers and sounds. I mean, granted, the headshot thing is a great thing, but now when you hit someone, when you don't hit somebody. It's just we're just catering to the casual Call of Duty player.
Ooh, Call of Duty player. Oh man, you're gonna get a knock on your door with those kind of words. I think it's like a lot of the game's features are designed to augment the shortcomings of the medium. The game itself, like, you can only do so much in the game. You can do a lot, but it's still, you're playing through this medium, WASD and your mouse and now controller. Like, again, there's only so much you could do. You can't like left, right, up, down, to do some special combo. Like, it's in the real time situation. Like, you got to keep it streamlined. You got to keep it flowing. I think there's language differences as well that kind of come into this. Like, again, this is an international game. Additionally, in the counterintuitive way, the flow of information creates another layer of this complexity and adds to the skill ceiling. Like, again, you could do a lot with what's currently there. I mean, there's a lot of good players. You see it day in, day out on these competitive matches. Hell, the people with 30 KDs, like, that's not me, but I mean, they're making the most of what's there, and you still see like a majority. I laughed at a post on the Reddit the other day, is like only like 30% have unlocked that gotta kill and hell let loose. Mind you, that is still including a bunch of players before the updates and whatever. But
see, I told you.
It's still like argumentative. Like there's good players that can get the concept, but there's still a lot of people still trying to get up there. Like nobody's all at the top. Like there's always going to be a skill bracket with the skills available to them.
And I think just further showing how they've dumbed down the game. They talk all about this, the tank overhaul, the armor overhaul. It's coming, and then we get it, and it's dumbed down to light, medium, heavy, and just get the first shot over there. Yes, they made everything consistent because it's easier for the sheeple, right? That's it, the sheep people. Yeah, but it doesn't have depth, to like mobility and drive. Like it's just, it's clear that they're not making this as a hardcore tactical shooter like they said they were going to.
Yeah, well, I mean, the devs are also on record saying that as more tanks get introduced, they will be continuously rebalancing and reevaluated. Like, i.e., the heavy tank is just, there's so many of them right now. That has got to change. So we're all hoping. And that's just time it's progressing. Like, again, they hit to those like really simplistic models of like, okay, make armor more simple. Well, you can expand once you come from a place that's like, it's solid. We need to get somewhere solid because tanking's always been, you never knew what was going to happen with it because there was just so many inconsistencies. And you're trying to find that constant, and then we can start to see that branch out. And then you see the diversification in the different tanks and how they're going to be played. You might see it. Like, again, I, for one, I'm not a tanker. I will never say I am. And I get a lot of people sending me a message about what you're saying about tanking doesn't make any sense. And I agree. I can appreciate some of the simplification from my perspective if I do hop in a tank, but it does like it's more like, hey, here's a welcoming into it. I still see it changing, but they got to get somewhere like solid to stand on because it always felt like quicksand whenever I got in a tank. Like I'd either have like a blowout round or I'd get nuked like straight all the way for 130 minutes. So just bring some consistency.
I don't know if you knew this, but Evil Inchon is a tanker, 100% tanker.
Oh God.
Evil Inchon only drives tanks.
Yeah.
On Foy or Kursk.
Oh yeah, you're probably the tanker that gets it stuck in Purple Heart Lane's river. The only one that you can drown in.
Yeah. All right. But even with tanks and everything, I mean, the fanboys of HLL continuously point to that. Well, the TTK is really, like a hardcore that makes it, and it's just this illusion of complexity to fool people coming straight from something else. But if you actually look at what a hardcore game is, this isn't it. Isn't it? There's a lot of design choices that have just like safeguard, don't allow people to make too big of a mistake. You can't, when they change friendly fire to where you can't one hit your own guy, you can't accidentally shoot your own Sherman if you're an American. I mean, it's just all these little like child locks and baby proofing the battlefield for the casual player.
Baby proofing the battlefield. I feel like you need to get a t-shirt with that written on it.
We can get back to could that be the next cartoon?
Just put some bumpers on everything, call it good. My counterpoint to that is ultimately it's just a matter of perspective. I mean, it might be entry level when it comes to games of a similar genre, but it has enough complexity to require a few hundred hours to really master. Like, again, every game, there's one thing that somebody's asking a question about in command chat or your squad, and you're like, oh, how didn't you know? And it's like, oh, yeah, the guy who's got 1,600 hours is a little different than the guy that picked it up and only has about 30 hours in his belt. So, I mean, you don't want to make it too punishing, or you're really just going to diminish those new people coming in because, like, then it's almost experience to win as usual, but it's just like that weight on their shoulders just got so much heavier that, I mean, the learning curve will never break out of it comfortably. Well, I'd say majority will drop it before they decide and they're like, this is too tough, I'm not gonna. So I mean, again, there's got to be tryhards, there's got to be the know-alls, but there's still got to be a bunch of rookies coming in trying to play the game, learn from it. So we can have a less punishing gameplay to foster a more friendly community. Think of it that way.
And you got these rookies now coming into the commander role, and we all know the commander role has been dummied down once again. Now you can have abundant resources, and your own, like, you can basically just click whatever buttons you want, regardless of there. And it's just this whole like RTS in comparison to an on top of an FPS just hasn't materialized. The commander role has not progressed in a meaningful way. It's just they're even if you look at the recent trailers for the game, it
Mhm.
doesn't show the core of what the Kickstarter was. It's action. It's Kursk, a windmill on fire. It's a Call of Duty or Battlefield trailer. What do you have to say to that, Digi? I kind of like this.
I'm sure you are. Again, a lot of data and feedback have been provided throughout the early access that have provided intel on how different concepts work, or they don't. We're still, like, again, just got out of alpha. We're a lot further along than we used to be. I mean, I remember that the days were running to a point and not taking a truck. And remember when that was the meta, you like, you're in the truck, yes. But now you get that, some people that know how to scout on a light tank track and, use that advantage to kill those trucks. So, I mean, it's always a counterbalancing act trying to be involved with it. I mean, it's asymmetrical resource generation not working, and it's providing a compounding effect to those steamrolls. So again, you got to have a chance for the team to come back from the last point. Now it's possible, because I remember back in the day where, oh God, was it update 7 where you'd lose all your nodes, just gone. Now you can build them in the opening HQ area and they won't be lost. So yes, it needs more work. I agree with you on that, but it's still in its infancy. Mind you, it's a framework right now. They know they want nodes. They know they want resources in this game. We're going to have to tweak the hell out of it. I think they're getting to a point where, again, the commander's role is still unique. Like, there's so many options to click through. There's a lot more buttons now, but if you don't do the right sequence, or you mistime it, or you just waste that bombing run that you should have saved for the final moment to make that actual push work, again, I still think there's some real time strategy elements that takes a bit of time to master, play that commander role out. But yeah, the resource nodes, it's infancy. It's being worked on.
See
being
Evil
worked
Digi talk about resource nodes being taken away. That brings out Evil Digi.
Well, the rolling. We can't just live in that constant where you're gonna get steamrolled once you lose the second to last point. Because at that point, I mean, most people just have the mindset like, we'll just not spawn in and just let them take it, and then we'll start a new game. Like, you got to get rid of that feeling.
Speaking of new game, did you know, and this is an ironclad here, that prior to 1.0, the official HL Discord was just one group, and now it's actually split into two separate groups here. This is actually not a conspiracy theory. This is real.
Not a conspiracy. This is facts. Yes.
This is facts.
So, I'm not disagreeing.
So now new people joining have their own feedback channel, their little, softer, gentler feedback without being tainted by the people that rode the journey before early access and have our own concerns and our own things. And this is just another way that the man suppresses the voice of the people.
Oh my God. Well, you've spent some time in there. It could be so toxic. It's just a cesspool where things get very obnoxious very quickly. It's just a risk to those new players coming in, getting brigaded with all those jaded veterans. And they're like, well, is this the community I'm about to step into? I'm trying to reach out. I'm going into the official Discord. Why am I getting bullied all of a sudden? Like, again, you get in there and somebody says, you don't know how broken this game is yet. It's like, that notion will carry with that new player. And what, again, I'm a firm believer positivity brings positive outcomes. Where all you're seeing is a negative. It's walking in the rain, man. Like, who's going to want to continue to do that if they're just getting like downtrodden? Any question they have is just getting berated with like, oh, you should know this, or that never work, or again, you got to see both sides of the coin. That's the only way this really works. And I think the whole feedback is valuable, but you got to be constructive about it. You can't just belittle and berate and just downplay these new players coming in. They might have a good concept that comes out, or they might just be shit, but you really got to wade through it, and you can't just have everything just so overloaded one direction. It's balance. Well, can't have so much tainting in the milk. Like, again, it just
and I think this really
poison the well,
I think this really goes back to the devs not acknowledging the issues with the game and the meta, and they'll go ahead and take silence or dangle the new content or what's coming instead of fixing basic issues with the game and fixing the meta. And if they do come out and say it, they say that's an intended design choice. That's just bullshit to me. God, this is really exhausting me. This angry. Okay, so and if you want to go further back, talk about the devs being suppressed. Okay, Jono used to all the way come in and talk, and now he hasn't even been involved in multiple dev briefs. Content of briefs gone down. Coincidence? I think not. You know, but the game has flopped and just completely pushed away the PC, or the game has flopped over to console, pushed away from it. We can't talk to the guys that led us here, and therefore you have a bait and switch case.
You like to say bait and switch, don't you?
I do. It's my tinfoil hat thing. And the man.
Yeah, I will be honest in saying I think the devs committing to a weekly dev brief is a little bit unsustainable at that pace, and every information was changing. It used to be pretty common; you'd see those updates weekly. Yeah, it's a lot to ask. Like again, there's a lot of moving parts, and I guess it's just trying to wrap it all together in a nice just way to have that discussion every time. But it really just gives that steady pulse of development and reassures the player base that the game has not been abandoned. I think that was a really benefit to having those weekly updates. It's a real sentiment. It just frequently pops up in other gaming communities when the devs are radio silent. I can't say that about this game. The devs are not silent in this game. I mean, they're really trying to get in there as they can, but again, not skew their vision and direction at the same time. Like again, input and a balance makes sense. Like you have to have it be equitable. Like it can't be all this and it can't be all that at the same point, where discussing those undercooked ideas, it's already faced backlash in the past, like i.e. the additional scoring system for comp. Maybe it's time to change the pace of those dev briefs, I think, and just really kind of spread them out, get viable content out there on a timely basis. Like I like the weekly, maybe it's bi-weekly, maybe it's, I don't want anything beyond months though. Like we can't stretch that beyond that. Like we're still not quite there. I think the stream still needs to continue to flow with that information.
Yeah, and I'm done. That's all I did. That's all I got. I was gonna say, why it's fun, man. That's exhausting being evil in Sean.
That's all he's got.
I do have to say, if you're listening to this at home or you're in chat, let's go ahead and give a hand up to Digi for playing moderator.
I felt the heat. I mean, I'm just trying to go with what we're seeing here. But again, we wrote these ones together. He decided to be the evil Inchon, so like gave me the benefit of the doubt. But one thing I did want to cover is that like that shift in the marketing, though. Your next point was going to be shift in marketing in the original EA, being communication and trailers early on, and now it's really shifted to only action and aimed to create the hype. I think it just ties back what we were saying earlier. Trailers themselves are just commercials, but again, we got to get that newer base of people coming in. It's got to grab that attention. I mean, I think at any point, gameplay is most important when making that purchase, but the focus should be placed rather on people that create the HL content, make sure that they present the game how it's supposed to be played, but there's limited influence over other creators. So like, again, we do the show out of passion for the community. I think as long as there's desire from people like, that want to put those content and the media out there, Bill, make another video, damn you. I think this game will always thrive as long as it has that supporting cast of those content creators just trying to pump stuff out. Again, trailers are just commercials. We need new people. But I think when you lay it out here and we have shows like this that are talking about stuff, the game in itself it's still vibing. Like there's still like a buzz and a heartbeat to it. When we have people that can talk about it. So yeah, that's all I got.
I was gonna say you did a great job. But what there's also is going to take away from this conversation is Digi is not going to let Inchon have all the show ideas going forward. So, but let's give credit to a lot of our research. The guy that stood and collected all of this, Sunseeker. You really appreciate the notes on this one. It was
guys crushing it.
Fun to be evil Inchon for a little while.
It was fun to be evil Inchon. How do you think he was trying to find all this information to talk about?
He's just walking out of the supporter mess hall
wearing yeah, he's probably was wearing a tinfoil hat when he left there. Just all that stuff he had to read.
Yeah. I was gonna say I might be off the Christmas card list of Black Matter, but so be it. Hopefully, as going through this, probably some of these things maybe hit a chord with you guys. Maybe you're thinking about this. Hopefully we presented kind of both sides a little bit, pros and cons, or equitably on there. Ultimately, I think this comes down to being this good of a community, there's almost a relationship that you have with your development team. And granted, we're not talking about every day, but it's a relationship that has a lot of faith and built on trust. And like all good relationships, either gaming or in real life, they don't always stay the same. And the question's whether that relationship grows together or grows apart. So if it's growing apart for you and you subscribe to some of these thoughts and these are game breaking for you, I can understand. It's human nature. If you're kind of on the fence, take a breath. Maybe we talked about all the competitive games going on. Try something different. Get in community. Try to have a little bit more fun with this game. I will say the best part of this is the community. And at the end of the day, I always ask everybody, because every now and then, I'm sure you get it too. You're a fanboy and blah blah blah. I always ask everybody, did you get your money's worth out of the game?
Yeah.
Of all the games that you've purchased in your Steam library, over all the items that you've purchased for $20, dirty secret, I got this game for $16 off of cdkeys.com.
Oh boy!
So $16.
Hey, you're definitely not getting that Christmas card. Not that we were going to. This is independent review here. Again, well said, Inchon. It's the community that makes us want to play this game. It's what keeps me around. But I'll know when that moment is up, because everything's fleeting at the time we all die, and you'll have that experience where you're like, that's just too far, and at that point you step back, you find a new realization. So be it. I'm looking forward to seeing where this comes, because best bang for the buck I've spent in a long time. I'm still getting a lot of kick out of it. I'm still happy to support the devs with those buy customizable apparel, because again, you spent $16. I was like 25 Canadian. So again, it wasn't that much to me at the time when you got in early. So seeing where it's come from to me is all been enjoyable. I'm looking forward to where they're going.
Indeed. So I think that about wraps up the episode. This is going to be one of the first episodes in a while. We haven't squeezed, 3 hours of content into an hour and a half of show. So I hope you have fun with it. Next episode, they're going to be coming here in 2 weeks, minus any Inchon technical issues. Digi's nice enough to say it's me, it's Inchon issues. Evil Inchon and Cheetos.
Evil Inchon, yes.
I was gonna say, I don't know if you want to chat, like Evil Inchon should have a goatee. I was gonna say, if I could quickly grow one, maybe next time you should do you could have the beard shaved down a little bit. Can you grow some handlebar mustache? Did you?
Oh boy, you're asking a lot right now. All right, on that note, take care. Thanks for joining us on this week of Hell Let's Talk, and see you on the battlefield.